Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Kate and I love all things makeup, skincare, beauty, and fun. Today we are going to be talking about my monthly favorites for the month of March. I had some real gems in here and some new favorites, so if you enjoyed this type of content, please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. I would love it if you would consider subscribing to my channel down below, and without any further ado, let's go. So first up, I had two foundations that I was really impressed by this month. The first one is a drugstore option, and this is by NYX. This is their Bare With Me Blur Foundation. I've seen some mixed reviews about this, and I bought this admittedly not in March, but in January or February of this year. And I put it in my everyday makeup drawer because I felt like I didn't have enough information to form a complete opinion. So after using this many times throughout the month, I really enjoy this. I think it does do a nice job evening out my skin tone. I think that you can build it up to be medium full coverage. Definitely, I think with the first application for me, it applies at a beautiful medium coverage. I have been going for more full coverage, so it builds beautifully, which I'm very grateful for. I really enjoyed this. I have mine in the shade Light Ivory. I also appreciate that this is not a glowy product. So here's the thing, I have combination skin, so the outer parts of my face and in here get really dry, and then right here, and then right here, not to be confused with here, but here, gets super oily, especially right here. So I'm really loving that soft matte products are trending right now, and I would agree that this is a soft matte. It's not going to make your skin look super dry, but I think if you have combination skin, this is worth the bucks. I enjoyed this. The next foundation is by no means a drugstore foundation, nor is it a drugstore price. This is by Gucci. This is $69, which is insane. However, I love this foundation. This is their Eternité de Beauté foundation. I have mine in the shade 265C. It is a hair dark for me, so I think that I'm going to get a little bit more use out of this come later this spring and summer because I didn't do a great job shade matching. However, this is another one that is going to be a matte finish. I do find that with this one, what helps me, especially like right now when my skin still is suffering from a little bit of dryness, is if I use a moisturizing product underneath. Of course, I apply my moisturizer, but then I'm mindful about the primer that I use underneath to ensure that it's not going to be too drying, because this definitely is a matte finish. And I think if you have combination or oily skin, you would absolutely love this. Picking my shade was a little harder than I anticipated. So that was like really the only drawback, but that's on me, not on the foundation. But this foundation is quickly becoming a holy grail. If you know, I love my Tom Ford foundation. This, I think I like more. I love this foundation. There were two new primers this month that I picked up and I have not stopped using. I have not stopped using them. The first one is by Glow Recipe. This is their Strawberry BHA Pore Smoothing Blur Drops. So I'll be honest, this is not going to do magic, you know? It's not going to like whip out a magic wand and start dancing around with a cartoon owl. It's not Merlin. But I do feel like it does a soft blur, and I feel like when I pair this with another primer, this does a nice job of keeping my face more matte. I've been loving this. I like the texture, super lightweight, doesn't feel heavy on the skin, and I can layer this with other primers so that I can, you know, use my e.l.f. Pore Putty, what's the name? The Putty Primer by e.l.f. I use that pretty religiously, so I really like that product with this product. 10 out of 10, definitely worth the money. The next one that I picked up was this little nugget by e.l.f. This is their Pore Eclipse Mattifying Primer. I picked up the sample size, and I suspect that I will be picking up the big size very soon because there have been a couple days here in New England where it's gotten unseasonably warm. Not maybe not unseasonably, but rather warm. And as we all know, I have combination skin and I have a sweaty face. It's the freaking worst. It is the freaking worst. However, I do feel like this does a nice job of mattifying my skin. I use this with my Urban Decay Hydromaniac, which is definitely a more glowy foundation. I still love a glow, don't get me wrong, but I'm loving going back into the mattes again. So this does a nice job of like keeping my face matte, or at least less oily less greasy when I'm using a more hydrating product. So definitely love this. Definitely am going to pick up the full size. I used a lot of blush this month, but I just feel like they all need to be talked about because I just love all of these formulas. The first one you've heard me talk about if you've been here time and time again. This is by Melt Makeup, and this is the cream blush lights. I have, I think, like 5 shades of these. They have a couple new ones that I really need to pick up. This one this month was in the shade Honey Thief, and it's just like this beautiful peachy pinky beautiful cream blush. The thing that I love the most about these is that whether you're applying it over foundation, on bare skin, or over powder, it's going to blend out beautifully and it's not going to pick up what's underneath. This is like by far my favorite formula of cream blush. I seriously think that if you bought one and you're somebody that has to powder your face, same. I don't think you'd be disappointed. I always go in, not always, but typically I go in with my beauty sponge, which is now magically missing. I was going to show you, but I go in with my beauty sponge and like just tap it right onto my cheek. I don't even do it on the back of my hand. If you're feeling nervous about it maybe disrupting it, you certainly can do it that way. And that is typically how I do it with a lot of my other cream blushes. But this one, you can go right in. You can go right in and it's not going to disrupt anything. I don't know what sorcery is in this, but it's just so good. The next formula I want to talk about is by Oden's Eye. These are their Soulmane Sunlight Love blushers. I have this one here in the shade Roseate Love. I have, again, I think like 3 or 4 shades of this because I just love the formula. This one has some shimmer all throughout it and it's a beautiful light pink peach color. I love these. They have a really decent shade range, so if you're more fair than I am or if you're more rich in skin tone than I am, I think that you would love these and I think you would be able to find a blush shade that works for you. They're just so special. They're so special. They're so creamy. They blend right onto the skin. You can build them up to be really opaque, but you can also like soften them down to be a little bit more sheer. I can't say enough good things about these. These are still, I'm pretty confident, available on Oden's Eye's website, and 10 out of 10. I love this formula. The last blush, I promise, that I want to talk about is actually a blush palette, and this is by Lunar Beauty. This is an oldie, but a goodie at this point. So this is the Moon Prism version. So it's his first version that Manny MUA came out with. It definitely has, in my humble opinion, more springtime tones. I love this one down here called Soleil. It's a shimmer formula. I wish that he would come out with an all shimmer blush formula. I love a glowy blush. I think Manny doesn't love a glowy blush, which is probably why that has not happened. However, I just love these tones. I think they're perfect for spring. This is a palette that I put in for this month's rotation, but I honestly think I'll keep it in for next month as well. I just love this formula and I love these colors. So beautiful. If these colors you don't think are going to suit your skin tone, definitely the Nude Prism blush palette is a little bit more rich and I think suits definitely more skin tones than this one does. The last product I want to talk about is like the shocker of the century, and I do mean the century, because never in my wildest dreams did I think I'd be sitting here in 2023 talking about a Too Faced palette. But here we are. I loved this. This is by Too Faced. It is their Italian Spritz palette. It does have a super light scent, just worth noting if you're someone that is sensitive to scents. So this is what this palette looks like. I just think they nailed it with this one. Truly, I don't think that Too Faced has done a palette that has inspired me this much and the formula I've enjoyed this much since the Peach palette, which, great news, that came out in 2016. So this was an absolute banger. I did note, and I will note again, I did a video on this one, but I want to just reiterate, I personally noticed different textures throughout the shimmer formulas. However, that being said, I did not notice like a difference in quality. The textures are just a little bit different. So if that's something that like might like give you the spooks, I just want to note that for me personally, I did feel like the textures were a little bit different, but that they all worked really beautifully on the eyes. I have created several looks, I think 4 or 5 looks with this month, and I have loved every single one. I cannot believe that Too Faced finally got it right. again. So I'm really hoping that we'll see more bangers like this from them because this is just so good. It's so good. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would love it so much, so much if you would subscribe to my channel down below. As always, please stay happy, stay healthy, and stay blessed, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.